Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners. This is COMETSA Radio Africa, the voice of COMETSA, the organizations everybody wants to be associated with. The mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. That is our philosophy. We inform and entertain. We develop and educate. We empower and support. We associate and network. That's the idea. We are a business and professional management services 24/7 internet streaming radio station. We broadcast 50% of music and 50% of talk shows. Our talk shows aim to affirm and support business professionals and entrepreneurs in their personal and professional journey of bringing difference to the world. Our objective is to use the African storytelling and LEKGOTLA conversation methodology in offering career coaching, education and learning guidance, continuous professional development, enterprise and entrepreneurship development, and connecting supply to demand. My name is Tsima. I am the CEO and Executive Business Coach at COMETSA GOC International. You can visit our website at www.cometa-goc.com. We also encourage you to consider applying for individual or corporate membership at COMETSA Friends and Supporters Club NPO, and you may do so online at www.cometsaclub.africa. You are welcome to write to us at callcenter@cometa-goc.com. Call center is spelled CALLCENTRE. Or you can write to us at admin@cometadevelopment.com. In the previous broadcast, we looked at the past 3 episodes that we will take you through when we invite you over to COMETSA Radio Africa as our conversation partner. At this moment, I would like us to look at the content that informs our episode number 4, which is the last episode of our conversations with professionals and entrepreneurs. And this episode focuses on entrepreneurship and post-employment journey. We are encouraging professionals to consider finishing their careers as entrepreneurs or transitioning out of corporate, out of employment into running their own enterprises. There's an outcry for entrepreneurship in Africa. What we will be engaging with you on in this episode is how you actually ended your corporate employment. That, in many cases, defines your successes or your failures at your post-employment journey, which is in many cases entrepreneurship level. We want to know if your exit was planned or if you were forced out of employment and what effect or impact that has on you at this stage of your career journey. It is very, very informative how people actually transition out of corporate employment. And therefore we want that story to be shared with our listeners and more so with our young generation or junior people that ultimately will also be confronted with the reality of exiting the corporate employment level of their journey. We want to hear from you at all times as to whether you believe that exiting corporate employment requires any planning, any tech, or is there any art or strategic approach that is necessary, either at the individual or organizational level? And what is the common practice out there, and what is your view on them? What we are also very interested is if there is no such structured exit that your company offers you, if you were to design it yourself, that is, develop, design, and implement an exit plan, what will it entail? And how do you go about implementing it? Very much important is also the knowledge that you leave behind. We are very much interested in that. People will call it a legacy. What legacy do you think you're leaving behind? And how will it benefit the organization and the employees that you are leaving behind? In many cases, you have spent so many years in an organization and you have designed and created things. You've contributed to what that organization has become. And you can't just leave people without actually making sure that you leave them with something. Not just for your own legacy, but also to sustain the things that you were doing while you were there. What is of importance for us also is for you to share with us how did you go about performing the handover at that former organization, and how assured you are that your handover was empowering and it will be of good in sustaining the legacy that you are leaving behind. We will engage with you around the role you played or you didn't play in the appointment of your successor. We believe very strongly that the economies, the industries get disrupted when people don't actually have a proper transitioning and they don't get to use the experiences they've made over years to inform the process of looking for their successors. We don't encourage that people should be allowed to choose their favorites, but we believe very strongly that if you have occupied the position for a very long time, you have a duty to make sure that your departure does not become a reason for paralyzing that organization. And therefore you have a role to play. And in many cases, such people who play such active roles before they leave, they tend to sustain the relationship with their ex-employers. We will also then, during our engagement with you, want to know whether you have an existing relationship with your employer and how is that sustaining you in terms of self-worth. And if you are running your own enterprise, we are keen to know if your previous employer is actually extending opportunities to you, because you know very well the type of service they need, the type of products they need. You have been there after all. And therefore, post-employment projects offered to you by your employer could become really very much of a value add to the industry and the economy at large. We are interested in knowing how you arrived at deciding on the type of enterprise that you are practicing your entrepreneurship in, and what form of enterprise it is, and then of course what you call it and why the name you call it. So that is really a way of trying to make you to be actively engaged with these things, because they might appear very less important, but they are quite very critical, because it's about applying yourself to the next stages of your journey. We are keen to know the type of research you did before you actually decided on establishing the type of enterprise. Is there any demand gap that you picked up and you thought that by going in this type of a business, you will actually be responding to a demand in the market, or you will be filling a gap in the market? Very much of interest is whether you're running the business yourself alone, or you have partners that are participating in the running of the business. Did you have any relationship with them prior to establishing this enterprise, or you started it at the same time with the establishment? You started the relationship at the same time with the establishment of the enterprise. Those are some of the very insightful information that you may want to share with us. And of course, we are keen to know if this partnership was pre-planned or it was coincidence. What is important in your story is whether your partners are bringing anything into the enterprise and what it is. And then, of course, your own contribution that informs the importance of or the rationale for having that type of a partnership. As indicated, the business case is always critical. That inform the partnership. Shouldn't just be only the demand that each of you are meeting with your unique skills, but there must be a business case that justify the existence of the business and the partnership. And of course, ultimately, the value proposition that your organization give. At this level, the conversation very much moves to what we call, closer to what we will call the business model canvas or the strategy of the business. And if you are able to have a conversation with us at this level, you are actually unpacking and getting much more familiar with your strategic imperatives of your business. Because we will want you to share with us the key strategic partners that you work with, the market and the clients that you service, the industry in which these clients find themselves, the distribution channels that you follow to deliver the services and the products and the solutions. And of course, if you have extended service providers and suppliers that plug into your delivery model and making sure that the customers are satisfied. We will want to share with you if you have got dependable income streams and what those income streams are and how do you guarantee business continuity. We will want to hear from you in running your business, how you go about sustaining customer relationship and containing the cost structures that are necessary for you to be able to serve your customers and operate your business. And of course, the resource management models that you are using, including people in your organization, and how you make sure that people can really genuinely make career in your organization. So running an enterprise is not just for your own benefit, but it's for the benefit of all those people that are employed by you and are contributing to the value creation in your organization. And at the same time, it will be keen also during the conversation with you that you consciously share with us the values that you are sort of like bringing into the organization, whether written or unwritten. And the overall strategic business objectives of your organization, including the vision and mission of your organization. So this is almost, we regard the entrepreneurship as the highest level of our professional and journey that we follow, and therefore that's why it takes a different dimension to the other episodes, and it is quite very rich and very much real in the way we structure the conversation. It's as if we are researching on you, but we are actually inciting you to think a little bit much more critical and strategic about the entrepreneurship level of our journey. That was the content for our episode number 4. Once again, I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. My name is Tsima, and I'm the CEO and Executive Business Coach at COMETSA GOC International. You can visit our website at www.cometa-goc.com. We invite you to take membership with us, individual or corporate membership, at COMETSA Friends and Supporters Club NPO, which can be done online at www.cometsaclub.africa. And we also invite you to send us email at callcenter@cometa-goc.com or at admin@cometsadevelopment.com. We thank you for tuning in. This was the last of the series in terms of the content that we address in having conversations with professionals and entrepreneurs. We are looking forward to welcoming you at our next broadcast. Goodbye and take care.